uh, Sorcerer. And Wave of Force. Arcane Orb is one of the ones that I use. As you can see, it's 225% weapon damage is arcane to all enemies within 10 yards of an explosion. I will be using this in the fight whenever Leoric summons some minions, and they will pretty much all die as soon as they spawn with this. Then Disintegrate I'll also use. As you can see, it's hotkeyed to my right mouse button, and we will. It's really useful for fighting off big groups of enemies. I'll also use this on one of the mobs that Leoric summons. Then Electrocute I'll be using mainly on Leoric. Alright, next you see me, I will be at Leoric's tomb. Okay guys, you can see that I'm at Crypt of the Skeleton King again, with the wizard down. And so I'm going to be showing off Electrocute, Disintegrate, Arcane Orb, and Frost Nova. First I'm going to come over here and show Frost Nova. See, all of them are frozen now. Now I'm going to show Arcane Orb. You didn't get to see that very well, but you saw how effectively it killed all of them. As you can see, it actually fires like that, then explodes whenever it hits an enemy, or after a certain amount of time. Electrocute is pretty much a chain lightning attack that jumps from target to target. To put the crown on the king's head. Then Disintegrate is similar to Electrocute. It just fires all around until it hits a barrier. I'm using Electrocute. As you can see, it's not doing too much damage to the Skeleton King too fast. I'm going to switch to Disintegrate. Does a bit more. But if I really want to damage him, I need to use Arcane Orb. As you can see, each one takes off a big chunk of his health. There's a Frost Nova to freeze everyone, and he's dead. Next up is the Monk. After I go back to town, as you can see, my monk's name is Ninja. He wields axes instead of his fist weapons just because they do more damage. There's no ill side effects from it. It's just, it doesn't look like you would expect it to. Okay, so for the skills that I'm using with the monk. First off, I'm going to be using Crippling Wave, which does sweeping attacks to all enemies in front of you. Third hit deals damage to all enemies around you and reduces their movement speed. It's really nice. All the monk's basic attacks, generating attacks, are actually pretty good. Fist of Thunders are pretty good. Exploding Palm I actually haven't used, but I prefer Crippling Wave just because it does more damage overall whenever you're around a lot of enemies. Then as for the Spirit Spinachers, I'm using Lashing Tail Kick. which you do a roundhouse kick that does damage to all enemies around you. Then I'm doing a lethal decoy, which explodes an illusion of energy that the enemies go towards and deals 436% damage of your weapon as holy damage. That costs 75 spirit, which is half of what I have to use. And here's the other spirit spenders that you have. Now, for the mantras, this reminds me of the barbarian shouts from Diablo 2. I mean, that's the closest thing I can think of for them. Okay, for the passive skills, I don't think I've looked at this one. So, the more you use spirit, you gain life, increase movement speed, I think I'm going to switch to the Guardian's Path so I can evade more damage. Alright, I will next talk to you when I am at the Crypt of the Skeleton King. Okay guys, I'm at the Tomb of the Skeleton King now. So the door's opening. The mantra that I had just wore off. That does get kind of old. But need to wait for the return. I'm going to activate my mantra. Watch them kill themselves on it. It's always funny when they kill themselves when attacking you. As you can see, I'm back at full health because of those health globes. So that's what that mantra is really good for. Then that was the 3 attack combo from Dashing Strike. Crippling Wave, I'm sorry. 1, 2, then, well, I didn't do that fast enough. You'll see it with the fight against the Skeleton King. First things first, I'm going to redo my mantra. Then I'm going to do the lethal decoy. Did some decent amount of damage. As you can see, every 3 attacks, the set of 3 is different. Here's Lashing Tail Kick. See, it completely decimated his army. And it stuns Leoric himself. So he's dead now. Going to be teleporting back to town. Switching to the final class that I need to show you, the Witch Doctor. So you can tell I'm a fan of StarCraft with the name of Zeratul. Wrong button. There we go. As for the current skills that I'm using, I'm going to be using Firebomb, Summon Zombie Dogs, Haunt, and Zombie Charger. So I'll show you the skills right now. Really like Firebomb. It costs a lot of mana, but as you can tell, I have a lot of mana. Then fire bats, it's not worth it. I don't like it at all. Quartz spiders, it's okay. They don't last long enough, in my opinion. Zombie charger, I really like. Plague of toads would be better if it was easier to direct it. Poison dart is actually pretty good. As you can see, it does a lot of poison damage and poison over time. As for the spirit realm, haunt is an amazing attack. You can do 3 at a time, but you can stack them on the same enemy, which I will show you on the Skeleton King, which just doing it 3 times on him will take about half his life away. It's pretty amazing attack. Horrify, like several curses from Diablo 2, the necromancers. Spirit walk, you can move unhindered, don't really care for it. So you can summon zombie dogs, which I'm going to be using. They deal 15% of your weapon damage, but they make good meat shields. Grasp of the Dead. I haven't used it yet, but I've seen people use it in multiplayer. It's actually pretty good. It's an area of pretty big area of effect. Then Hex. It turns people into chickens, or enemies into chickens. I haven't used it yet, but it looks pretty funny whenever it's used. Okay, so as for the skills that he has, I might actually switch to that. So I need to test this skill out and see if you can have more than the 3 zombie dogs that you start off with. If you do, you can have a swarm of them like you could with skeletons in Diablo 2 with the Necromancer. Then I'm not using any of those abilities, so I'm not going to switch to that. This is a nice passive skill. So I'm going to leave it as it is so I can test out Circle of Life and see how many zombie dogs I can get. If I can get more than the 3, it would be amazing. Other than that, I will see y'all as I fight the Skeleton King. Okay, I tested the passive skill Circle of Life. I'm going to leave it on that, but I'm going to change the summon zombie dogs because Circle of Life doesn't increase the number of zombie dogs that you summon. So I'm going to change zombie dogs to Grasp of the Dead. As you can see, that killed off all my zombie dogs. But I should get more while I'm questing to the Skeleton King's tomb. And I'll see you there. Okay guys, I found a funny glitch while doing this. I'm at the part where I'm fixing to fight Jondar, but it says I have 3 Templar following me. I'm guessing the zombie dog thing is glitched because I haven't summoned one since I removed zombie dogs from my skill list. I'm going to change that coming up whenever I get to the Tomb of the Skeleton King. As for now, I'm going to just continue on.